I got you into a Remington party. What's my thanks? It's on the hallway carpet. I got paid in puke. Lick it up, baby. I got paid in puke.
Welcome to Paid in Puke, a podcast where three women with names discuss movies that are about something other than a man. Paid in Puke is hosted by Amy Green, Christina Barr, and Jessica Baxter. It's also a spoiler-filled free-for-all. You've been warned. It's our Series 5 opener! Wow. Series 5, baby! And I'm so excited to talk about Emerald Fennell's 2020 debut film, Promising Young Woman, starring Carey Mulligan, Laverne Cox, Alison Brie, and Jennifer Coolidge. Whisper something in your ear.
Good God almighty. You know, they put themselves in danger, girls like that.
It was a perverted thing to say.
You'd think you'd learn by that age, right?
Please lay down. What are you doing?
It's okay, Kate, you're safe.
What are you doing? Hey, I said, what are you doing? Every week, I go to a club. I act like I'm too drunk to stand. And every week, a nice guy comes over to see if I'm okay.
You okay? You are so pretty. I am a nice guy.
Are you?
1, 2, 3, 4. I thought we had a connection.
Okay. How old am I? What are my hobbies? What's my name? Sorry, maybe that one's too hard.
Cassandra? We were in class together at Forest. You would have been a great doctor. What happened?
I left under unusual circumstances. You remember what happened, right? Why I dropped out. I'm not the only one who didn't believe it.
We get accusations like this all the time.
Who needs brains? They never did a girl any good.
I'm so sorry I didn't go with her.
You gotta let it go.
What are you gonna do?
I don't know.
Why do you guys have to ruin everything? We were kids.
If I hear that one more time,
I have to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I was hoping you'd feel differently by now.
It's every guy's worst nightmare getting accused like that.
Can you guess what every woman's worst nightmare is? I wanted to be a doctor my whole life. Lately, I've been feeling like I might want to get back into it.
Promising Young Woman tells the story of Cassie, a med school dropout haunted by the loss of her childhood best friend Nina, who probably killed herself after getting raped at a party and losing her trial to her rapist. It's not funny, I just am so bad at synopses. Even when I wrote this out, I thought it was going to go better than this. Cassie's anger regarding the violence of that loss consumes her to the point that her entire life revolves around taking elaborate, non-violent retaliation against the portion of the population she deems responsible, i.e. cis, straight white dudes. So, okay, I wrote a review of this movie and thought about it for days and days, and it took me a really long time to write this review because there's just so much there. And I finally settled on like a Batman motif because she basically is a superhero vigilante. Batman specifically because Batman's like non-violent. He's known for non-violence and teaching criminals lessons. And that's kind of what she's doing.
Yeah, that is true.
And I realized on this watch, and I will say, as we always say, this is a spoiler-filled podcast. And if you don't want to be spoiled on this movie, you should just stop what you're doing and watch it because it's so fucking good, so you should definitely watch it, and we're going to talk about all kinds of details. But I decided this last time we were watching it that she really enjoys this. Like how Batman enjoys beating up bad guys and then being like, I'm too good to kill you. She really enjoys fucking with these guys.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
This is a hobby for her. She's lost the plot on why she's doing it. She really enjoys it. It's literally how she has fun.
Yeah.
Like that celebratory walk home in the beginning with the hot dog. She's like, I got the munchies after getting super high off of fucking with rapists. She's a superhero with a tragic tragic ending.
Well,
Past and future.
But that's,
past, present, and
that's
future.
part of Batman's thing too. It's because he has this traumatic past.
Yeah, and he can never be a normal person. He's basically a ruined person because of it.
That definitely makes sense. I like that. She knows exactly what she's doing. She plans these things the Al Monroe going to the bachelor party.
Oh yeah, there was so much setup she had to do for that.
A lot of planning.
Yeah.
And she didn't even have to do that. She could have ruined Al's life without even going to that party.
She had the video.
Yeah, she was gonna go all the way with her plan. Either way, she was going to level these guys. They were gonna be ruined and go to jail and have justice. But, like, she knew she could die. She didn't even have to do that. She could have ruined their lives not even having gone.
But on the other hand, I see how she came to that conclusion because she wanted to make sure that they wouldn't get out of it unscathed if it doesn't work out, because she's obviously had the past experience of them not being brought to justice, even with evidence and testimony.
Right. It's really important for her to get him to acknowledge what he did. He's handcuffed to that and he's still acting like, oh, you know, this was things getting out of hand or whatever.
Look, I'll give you anything, okay? I mean, I'll do anything. Anything.
Oh, don't cry. Really, don't fucking cry. Tell me what you did.
I didn't do anything wrong, though.
Did you ever feel guilty, or did you just feel relieved that she'd gone?
Yeah, I was affected by it too, okay? I mean, it's every guy's worst nightmare getting accused like that.
Can you guess what every woman's worst nightmare is?
That's what she wants from him, is to say, I did this terrible thing to her. It was not her fault. It was not, you know, she didn't do anything wrong.
She wants him to admit that he hurt somebody and that he still thinks about it. To her, that is redemption, because that's what happens with the lawyer. We don't know what's going to happen, if that guy was just going to fuck him up or what, but she was going to have something done very bad to his body as revenge, and then because he's like, no, this haunts me, I actually am super fucked up over it, and he remembers the girl's name, and he remembers actively harming her, and he feels like shit about it, and she wanted either that reaction, or if she didn't get that reaction, to carve her name on him. I could see how that's such poetic justice for her. And she explains the whole thing about why it is.
It wasn't her name she heard and she was walking around. It was yours. Your name. All around her. All over her. All the time. And it just squeezed her out. So when I heard your name again, your filthy fucking name, I wondered, when was the last time anyone had said hers? Or thought it even, apart from me? And it made me so sad, because, Al, you should be the one with her name all over you.
If you just fucking let her do that, I know.
It's one of those things, I know I'm going to watch that movie over and over, and every time, maybe this is the time that the handcuff doesn't break.
Yes.
They look like they're on there pretty good. Damn it.
I know he really does look very trapped for a minute.
Yeah.
That scene with Alfred Molina, he was awesome as that lawyer who had this psychological breakdown, realizing how horrible he's been. He's crying on her lap and saying, like, I'll do anything, I'm so sorry.
She cries,
She starts
yeah.
crying. I thought that scene was really powerful.
You gotta help me. I can't sleep. I can't sleep. I haven't slept in... I'll never forgive myself. I want you to know that. I'll never forgive myself for any of this.
I forgive you.
I'm so sorry.
Go to sleep.
And she doesn't cry much. The only other time she cries is when she's watching the video.
She, like, goes into these situations pretending to be blackout drunk, going to these guys' houses, and I got the feeling like that scene with the lawyer was a real surprise to her. Like, this person could actually be genuinely sorry for what they've done and wanting to make amends, and the other people she interacts with, she knows how they're gonna respond. She's not surprised.
I felt like she was like expecting that from somebody. I feel like she was hopeful every time. I also feel like it's very true to the times. Don't you think there are some people that over the last few years looked back on things in the past, whether they were involved or not, and be like, wow, that was really fucked up. I can't believe we thought that wasn't. I feel like she has that expectation on some level with everybody. Now that there's been this like societal sea change over this issue, have you maybe thought about this thing? I mean, I don't know that I would say she's expecting that, but I think that's what she's looking for from everybody.
Yeah.
So she literally says that with Madison. She says, I was really hoping you would say something different.
You thought I was crying. Well, I don't make the rules. Look, when you get that drunk, things happen. Don't get blackout drunk all the time and then expect people to be on your side when you have sex with someone you didn't want to. That's a shame. I was hoping you'd feel differently by now.
Yeah, I was also thinking with the McLovin character.
Sorry, McLovin for life, Christmas plus.
Yeah, he's McLovin for life.
Sorry, bro.
She's like, do you still want to fuck me? And he's like, no, thank you, ma'am.
That's really funny.
You want to fuck me still?
No, thank you, man.
No one ever does.
Yeah, of course, this is who you are.
It's so telling because they only want to fuck her when they think that she isn't consenting.
Right. Like, oh, you're sober? What?
Yeah, that's a real boner killer.
Right, exactly.
Right, like especially that first scene with Adam Brody. What are you doing? What are you doing? And he's like, you're safe, you know.
Yeah.
And then she still just says, what are you doing? But she says it in a sober voice. Very interesting.
Yeah, right?
It really is. I know. And the scene with the dean is really, I mean, the whole movie is very tense. I've just, even though on the second watch I was like surprised at how tense I felt the whole time, even though I knew what was going to happen. And you do keep hoping, like, I mean, you kind of get into Cassie's mindset of you keep hoping people will not be total shitbags.
Right.
Maybe this time they'll be cool and she'll remember Nina and, oh my god, her lines where she's like, if we investigated every one of these cases, I'd be so busy.
You know, we get accusations like this all the time. 1 or 2 a week. I'm sorry I don't remember your friend Nina, but I can assure you at that time that I looked into it thoroughly.
Regrettable.
Yes, I mean, because what would you have me do? Ruin a young man's life every time we get an accusation like this?
Yes! Yes, you are.
So many moments in this movie where I just see that's something that happens, or like the McLovin character.
I know. I don't agree with them, but I can see people being like, it's just too much. It's just the greatest hits of toxic masculinity. But I mean, it is though. And that means that it happens all the time.
The thing that for me was like a very recognizable incident, and this happens with a few people, but for sure with Adam Brody, when he asked her, do you want to stop into my place for one more drink? And then doesn't wait for her to answer.
My apartment is a few blocks from here. Would you want it? Have a drink before coming to hang? I'm just literally right here. You want to have like one beer? Yeah.
Can you take us to 242 Raleigh Drive instead, please? It's a couple blocks.
Just put the address in the app.
That's a very familiar thing to me. I just feel like it's things that are so normalized that you have to take a step back and realize, like, that's actually, like, a crazy thing to do. In any other context, like, if I put my hands on you and you removed it, it would be really crazy for me to keep doing that, you know? Like,
yes, yeah.
But it's so normal, that mentality, that a guy should use coercion.
Yes, oh my god. You just end up in people's places. You just find yourself there when you're a young lady. You're like, oh fuck, how did I get to this guy's apartment? The series of events of them being like, let's just do this, without really even asking you, and then you end up there. Yeah. Obviously, she was in control of the situation, but you can see how to be a nice girl, you're not going to make a fuss. Oh, he thought I said yes. I'm not going to say anything. I guess I will just go with it.
Right, or if she really was that drunk, never says yes to anybody.
No, she never does.
Especially with McLovin when she's like, no, I need to go home. I want to go home. I don't feel good. There's this mentality that someone's asking for it or even leading someone on, and it's like, no, really.
Right. And she's already so intoxicated, and he's like, let's get you another drink.
Kumquat liqueur. Here we go, milady.
so
Like the rideshare driver is worried she's gonna hurl in his car.
Yeah. Which, okay, so hot props.
Shut up. Hot probs is on.
Oh shit, yeah.
That's the only thing he's worried about. Good looking out.
So I don't know if this is a hot prop or not, but it should be a hot prop because that should not be something that an Uber driver would allow. They're already going to a place. Like, an Uber driver should be like, I can see what's happening, and I'm not going to allow this guy to switch addresses.
Or at least ask her, is that where you want to
Right,
go?
yeah.
He should have done that, yeah.
Yeah, it's believable to me that would happen that way.
It is, I know. I guess a lot of my hot props are like that.
There's so many things in there that are just like, this is how pervasive rape culture is. Like, here's another example where somebody could have stepped in. So much of this movie is about how we blame the woman for getting assaulted. We don't blame people for assaulting her, and we don't blame people for not looking out for that.
That's true.
I mean, I assume that that's there intentionally.
Yeah.
You know, that
I kind of assume that everything is intentional. We don't have a big body of work from Emerald Fennell, but I feel like she's one of those careful filmmakers where, like, literally everything in the scene, every shot, every line of dialogue is meaningful. It's all so intentional. There's nothing haphazard at all.
like even how she parks far away from everything.
Yes, so that's like, yeah, that's one of the hot props, but who the fuck knows?
So far away from the front door of her house.
Of her own house. And then it's especially noticeable when Madison pulls right up to the front door like, oh, you could have been doing that this whole time, even when you had groceries.
I know. Okay, what does this book consider the lobster?
David Foster Wallace.
Consider the lobster as one of the fucking grades, man. Cracked my head open like a lobster claw.
Yeah, that's douchebag shorthand, and he like
that or infinite jest.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's being different by liking Consider the Lobster.
Right. And Emerald Fennell, she was in the movie briefly doing the makeup
Yes.
tutorial.
And then I like to finish always with a little dab of gloss just to give it a kind of wet texture. Just dab in the middle and on the top. And there you go. Perfect. Blowjob lips.
I just thought that was cool. I love
Doing her American accent. It's always fun.
Oh, I didn't know what is she?
She's British.
Oh,
Okay, more hot props. The drip coffee pot isn't big enough. I'm super nitpicking, obviously, because this movie is fucking phenomenal. When Ryan comes in and orders the drip coffee, she just has a little diner pot. A coffee shop would have a big air pot behind them. Unless, like, nobody ever orders drip coffee in this place.
Right.
But that's just a little tiny, tiny thing.
Right. Well, also the kind of thing someone comes in to order and they just ignore her. That's funny in a movie, but shitty customer service is just shitty.
That's true. And if your boss is your friend, you should work hard in their coffee shop.
Right.
Actually try to make sales, because I'm sure Gail is Laverne Cox's character. I'm sure Gail like has some sort of sales quota, because Gail says something about the head office, or like there's a manager position at the head office, or something like that. So I think this Make Me Coffee place is supposed to be a chain of some kind. I don't know how big of a chain, if it's like a Tully's or like a Vitrola. Gail doesn't own that coffee shop. Gail's middle management.
Yeah.
So Gail could get in trouble for Cassie fucking up. So don't do that to your friend. She puts a lot of faith in the fact that the cops will show up.
That they will show up exactly at that time.
Oh yeah, and how did she
like,
time
on
it
the
so
wedding,
fucking
right.
perfectly?
Is that even a thing, like the scheduled message thing? Is that a thing you can do, and that it would show on someone's text that it's a scheduled message? It definitely could be a thing. I'm just like
I don't
never heard of that. It's like timed so perfectly that
You
it's like
can
just gonna
schedule
get the text.
messages.
Oh.
Would it say that? I don't know.
And the cops will show up at the wedding to arrest him. Really good timing.
Another hot prop for me was Alison Brie saving all of her past phones for photos.
She said for photos or whatever. Did that phone even take photos?
Yeah, I know, right?
I guess it had a video capability.
Who saves their Motorola Razr or whatever they had?
There must be a way to upload your photos. I save my phone so I can show people pictures on this little phone.
Yeah, it would have made maybe a little more sense if she'd been like, I found this old file or something.
They're best friends since childhood, and then they went to the same med school together.
I believe
just
it.
seemed
I don't know. They definitely seemed very intertwined.
Yeah, and then I was thinking, like, is it important that they were so close since childhood? I mean,
I think that
doesn't seem like it would
explains-
matter.
Yeah, but like, why she'd be so obsessed? It's like
Right. How she
she's
really
basically
never could
family.
get over it.
Yeah.
Right.
Someone that she knew her whole life. Probably knew her better than anybody. Not only is it someone that you really love and care about and they're intertwined in your life, but like that they were always there. To have her be a constant. She's always got pictures everywhere. There's that scene where she's just kind of like looking at her screen saver and it's just a slideshow of pictures of her and Nina from childhood. It's like losing a member of the family, someone who was always there. Basically an appendage. I can see how she would not be able to get over it. Whereas to everyone else, they're like, oh, whatever it was in the past, I barely knew her. Got drunk with her a couple times.
Yeah, that is really sad. Connie Britton, the dean, she totally remembers Al Monroe, and she has no recollection of the victim in that story.
Nina Fisher. You don't remember her? Maybe you remember Alexander Monroe?
Oh, yes, Alexander Monroe. He actually just came back and gave a talk here. Oh, he's a really nice guy, really smart. Are you a friend of his?
No.
Because they get so many. How can I keep them straight?
Yeah.
2 a week.
I have to give the young man the benefit of the doubt. That gets thrown out a lot as a young man, or I was a kid, or...
Yeah, well, the whole title, Promising Young Woman, that's what they would say about Brock Turner, who's a promising young man. Like, we can't ruin his life because of his promising future. Like, he hasn't even done shit.
Right.
We don't want
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
You know?
But he might do something great, so we can't ruin his life over this one rape.
Oh my god, yes. That didn't occur to me until you said that about the title. That's really powerful.
And then, like, the only people who seem to care that Cassie is not doing anything with her life are her parents. I mean, a little bit. Like, Gail's, like, trying to get her to do something more or whatever, but there's not a ton of people who are like, oh, she could have been so much if she hadn't dropped out of med school. They just, like, forgot about her.
And same with Nina.
Yeah. And Nina was going to be the valedictorian, apparently. So that would have been a big deal. We were really obsessed this time with finding out where it took place. There's a lot of reasons I was curious about where the story took place, but the one time they mention it is, or it's not mentioned, but the reference is she sends the phone to Alfred Molina, and you see his address on an envelope, and it's this, like, small town in Ohio. Is where they are. So it's like the idea that Al Monroe is like a big shot anesthesiologist in Ohio. Like, we wouldn't want to ruin his big successful career. Also, I fucking love that he's an anesthesiologist out of all the things. Every anesthesiologist I've ever had has been like a big bro. I don't know why bros are so attracted to that job. They literally said to my husband when he was getting surgery, we're going to put you on the happy train to Sleepy Town. And he was like, wait, no! You're doing surgery on me. I don't want a happy train anywhere. I just want to have surgery done in a proper... Yeah. So it's just this small medical school in a tiny town in Ohio.
I was assuming it was L.A.
It was shot in L.A.
Yeah, and then, well, like the whole makeup artists, do they make music videos with popular boy bands in Ohio?
Oh, right.
I bet that's just like how dumb that girl
That's how dumb that girl was.
Please, I'm supposed to be shooting this music video. Yeah, I'm a makeup artist, and it's my first time working with these guys. And if I'm late, I may as well not.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Are you working for Wet Dreams?
You didn't see that.
I know where the Castle Diner is.
In LA, that is believable that would happen, but in Ohio, not believable at all.
Connie Britton, you better call the diner or she'll still be there. She's kind of an idiot.
I know how she hands Cassie her phone, like, without her even asking for it.
If you tell anyone or you post about this, I will never work again.
I swear I won't post anything. I promise. Take my phone. Seriously, take it. You know what? This is fake.
Sure sounds like it, huh?
That's a detail that Cassie didn't even plan on, and she's like, oh, this is going to be even better now.
She does really good line delivery.
Oh my god, it's amazing!
She's amazing. And so many unexpected things, like when she shows up at Ryan's hospital. I'm just here for my herpes medication. Or
She's fucking hilarious. She's hilarious. That is a really big tragedy. She's obviously so funny and so smart, and these fucking shitbags ruined her life. I mean, it is a tragedy, this story.
Yes.
What else? Hot prods. We talked about not parking close to the house, but then another thing I noticed was that in the scene where Ryan comes over for dinner, there's an establishing shot of the house, and there are no cars in front of the house at all. Did anyone drive there? What's with the cars?
Yeah.
Everyone's just really paranoid in this town. They don't want to be seen walking into anything.
Yeah, it's weird. If I have a hot prop, it's And this is often my hot problem things if people just had a conversation. Because it seems like she and Ryan never talked about this incident at all, which I think is kind of strange. It makes me question like how serious their relationship was. Like, what did that even mean to her? She didn't talk to him about that. Especially because practically the first thing he says to her when they meet up is, "Why did you leave Mexico?"
Yeah, that's true.
know? And they get back together after he sees her, pretending to be drunk with some guy. It's a little bit not believable to me that didn't lead to a conversation about why she did that, why she left med school. You know?
That's a very good point.
Right, like, thank you. Thanks, it is a good point. What is their connection if she isn't talking to him about such a benchmarker of her life?
I guess the devil's advocate argument is that she's trying to put it behind her, and when she goes back to him, she's doing so on the prompting of Nina's mom saying, like, you gotta forget about this. Maybe she's like, just gonna forget about it and move on. And if he doesn't ask about it, I'm not gonna volunteer the information. He definitely already showed himself as being someone who didn't think about it. He was just like, those guys aren't so bad and all this. She has intimacy issues. She's not gonna volunteer that kind of stuff. And he's not gonna ask, apparently. Or not ask probing questions. He asks initially, and she gives like a blow-off answer, and he's like, okay, cool. I mean, he did kind of end up being a shitty person, so I guess that makes sense in that regard.
Oh my God. Yeah, and watching it the second time, at the end of their first date, and they go on this walk, and it ends at his house, and he's like,
Whoa, this is a weird coincidence.
What?
I think... No. Yeah, this is my apartment.
What a weird coincidence.
And obviously that has an effect on her immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, we're here. Do you want to go up, have a drink, or...
Sure, why not?
Too soon. Sorry.
No, let's go upstairs.
I don't want to go up if you don't want to. I just write things. I'll drive you home.
You know what? You're at your place. I can call a cab.
Are you sure?
Sure.
Okay, I feel like I fucked this up.
No, it's not you.
Yeah, there's a lot there because he's also like notices right away, even though she says, yes, I want to come up. And Amy noticed also, like, that's the only time she says yes. But when she says it, she doesn't mean it. And he knows that right away. He says, oh, I'm sorry, I misread things. There's just a lot there. Guys can notice facial cues and body language that are different than what they're saying. It's not true that they can't differentiate those things.
Right. It does make a very clear point that men can read a situation and they choose whether to do it or not.
Absolutely. The scene with Al Monroe and the morning after she's dead on the bed. Just like the thought process with these men, you didn't do it. It wasn't your fault. And then like he's sobbing and he's like, thank you. You know, and it's
it kind of seems like it is.
I know, it kind of seems like it is. Yeah.
You know, but like, I think that men, they have these immediate thought processes that are just like, I don't know.
Well, it's like the opposite of what a woman would do generally, where a woman would be immediately like, how is this my fault?
Myself, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Right.
And they're like, this couldn't possibly be my fault.
The first thing that his friend says to him before he doesn't even know what happened, and he says it's not your fault.
Honey, what are we doing? Jesus fucking... Fuck. She dead? Why is the fucking strip dead? I told you. Why did this happen?
Okay. Hey, Al? This is not your fault.
I don't know, it kind of seems like it is.
No, it's not.
You just walked in on this guy with like a dead woman next to him, and he's like, it's not like...
With a pillow over her face, too. Like, it's pretty clear what happened.
There are so many men like that. He's crying, he's sobbing, and he'll kill you, but, you know, he'll cry about it. Like, that's...
He didn't want to.
But he's crying about, like, the consequences.
Yeah,
he's not
that's
crying
true.
because he feels bad about it.
What about the wedding and my job? She's gonna be so upset with me.
Yeah, he's crying about the consequences, but still you kill people anyways?
And he so didn't have to.
Right.
And not only that, but he commits to it.
Right.
Yeah,
he fucking commits to it.
That's almost what I'm like, I wish he would just, like, pretend to stop moving. I do like
I know.
that
It's
how...
very hard to watch.
Right. Typically in movies, they make it seem like you can strangle or suffocate someone like much faster than it would really happen. But I'm like, man, just like go limp and pretend you got it.
Ugh. Well, do we have any more hot props? I think that's all mine.
Yeah,
Nitpicky as fuck, but
right.
really, really well done, Emerald. Also, will you be our friend?
Next call.
I'm surprised how good this movie is. I thought it was going to be like an interesting failure. This movie ruled.
It did! You know, I mean, it like reminded me of... I don't know why anybody who saw Key and Peele would think that Jordan Peele couldn't make a good movie. People might not remember this, but when Get Out was announced, everyone was like, how is this comedian from television going to make a horror movie? That's stupid. It's not going to work. And then he was like, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
I make Get Out.
Now, great, I make a movie.
I've already started underlining meaningful passages in her copy of Moby Dick, if you know what I mean.
All of them. Everything that Carey Mulligan
so
says
many,
in the movie from start to finish. Literally every delivery is fucking perfect. Oh my god. And unexpected.
Oh,
She's
God.
the master at imbuing a line with 500 different meanings. I've long thought Carey Mulligan was an underrated actress, and I'm so glad she had this showcase for her talents, because I feel like she hasn't really been allowed this much reign before.
I love when Bo Burnham, he's like asking Cassie out. He's like, dating's horrible, everyone is horrible.
Dating's horrible. Everyone's horrible. Okay, I went on a date last month with a woman who wanted to euthanize the homeless.
You went on a date with my mom?
She's so quick. I know. She's so quick and funny.
Hilarious.
Yeah, and they do have like a really good chemistry. It's
They
very
do.
believable that they get together. He's pretty charming and funny.
I know, and it's important that she got him to do that.
I'm back because I think you gave me a fake number the other day.
It doesn't sound like me.
I know. So I spent a few hours composing a very witty, very romantic text, and then I sent that text to an oil rig worker called Red.
Was he into it?
Surprisingly into it. It was immediately inappropriate, but it's not gonna work out because of the oil rig. So I thought I'd try you again.
Part of me is mad because I'm like, why did it have to be someone as fucking charming as Bo Burnham? But at the same time, it did have to be, because that's how he got her. It had to be someone like that to get her, because she was so jaded by every other man. The eye contact he makes when he's drinking her spit coffee.
Oh, God. I was just...
Woo! There's actual sparks coming out of everywhere when that happens. Yeah, he's fantastic. And his line delivery is also spot on every time.
She lives. I'm just kidding. You weren't answering your phone, so.
He's a real dork.
I'm kidding.
He's
I like his
adorable
dork.
dork.
When she comes to his work and he's like,
What are you doing? Want to get dinner or something?
Are you working?
Well, no. He has leukemia, and there's really nothing I can do for him. It's over. I'm kidding. My shift's over. I'll grab my stuff, okay?
I really like that.
And she really likes it too.
Yeah, she's dark.
Yeah, they have a similar sense of humor.
I love how Laverne Cox is like, have you ever killed any children?
Yes, I wrote down the way he says what is so funny.
Have you ever killed any children?
What?
While operating on them, have you ever killed any children?
No.
Really?
Gail.
Kids have passed while I've been operating.
So that's a yes. Yes.
Gail, stop asking him if he's killed children.
You might be surprised to hear that gentlemen are sometimes the worst.
You don't need to. I'm a gentleman.
Are you?
Yeah.
You might be surprised to hear that gentlemen are sometimes the worst.
That's a really great line.
Right. I really like Adam Brody keeps saying, it's okay, you're safe.
Hey, it's okay. You're safe.
You're safe.
Safe from
As
what?
he's putting his hand inside her shirt. Yeah.
Right, literally take off her underpants. What are you saving her from? But that's also this is something I've been thinking about recently, is when men don't know that they're the bad guy in a story.
Mm-hmm.
Is a thing that happens sometimes.
Oh my god, sometimes.
Yeah. I like where she's meeting Madison McPhee, or it's Alison Brie. She's like, TBH.
She super nails that role.
And then she's like,
they all want a feminist in college because it's cool to have a girlfriend who cares about something. And statistically, feminists are more likely to do anal. It's a literal fact, by the way. Really?
What?
That was one of mine.
I have so many follow-up questions.
It's like, do you have kids? And she's like, you'll get there.
I wrote down that exchange too.
Oh my god.
Talk about people not reading someone, because the way that Cassie says no is so obviously like a never doing that, no. And she says you'll get there.
I like when she's talking to Gail and she's like, what do you want me to, like, you know, get married and do yoga and have kids? It would take me 10 minutes.
You're making the assumption that I want any of it. If I wanted a boyfriend and a yoga class and a house and kids and a job my mom could brag about, I'd have done it. It would take me 10 minutes. I don't want it.
Which is another reason why I was like, oh, she enjoys this. This is what she wants to be doing. You believe her that she could do all that shit. But doesn't want it. I like when Al Monroe says you're crazy and she says, I honestly don't think I am.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm sterilized everything. I really would have been a great doctor. You know what? I honestly don't think I am.
I really like that.
It's a great delivery.
I also like your novel sounds terrible, by the way.
Yes. God, it really does.
You know I'm actually writing a novel? Well, kind of. I'm such a fucking perfectionist, you know? It's just taking me forever. Just keep going over it and over it and over it in my head, just picking at it like a scab. It's about, I guess, like, what it's like to be a guy right now, you know? Like, what it's like to be a guy in the world. Just this gritty, low-life, fucked-up love story. And it all takes place in New York over the course of one night.
Careful next time you go out, Neil. Your novel sounds terrible, by the way.
The guy that's like, she's going home with him in one of her nightclub nights that she pretends to be wasted. They run into Bo Burnham. It causes a whole scene, and he's like, oh, I know you. You're that girl that Jerry went home with. You're psycho. You're not even that hot.
Oh, shit. You're that psycho that Jerry took home.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what? Not interested, sweetheart. Nah, let's stay crazy somewhere else. You're not even that hot.
You're hardly dropping panties yourself, Paul. When was the last time you scored in daylight?
And then he like runs away and he's like,
why do you guys have to ruin everything?
I love that part because he's literally whining and running away.
I know, part of me thought that was a little much. It's a little broad, but I also kind of liked it.
What else does a suicide need, huh? Now, if you'll excuse me.
I have like a red flag Ryan line that's like cute when you first hear it, but then you think about it and it's weird.
Look, if you're not into this, totally get it.
I'm not really looking to date anyone at the moment.
Yeah. Me neither. Would you be interested in a friendship and I'm secretly pining for you the whole time?
There's a lot there.
There's a lot there. It sounds cute, and then you're like, wait.
It's like friend zone adjacent, kind of.
Yeah. Very proud of my husband for finding that whole second interaction where he comes back after she gives him the fake number. Chris was like, I didn't like him right then. She'd already said no, and he wasn't taking no for an answer. Good job.
Oh, yeah.
When she comes back in to confront Ryan with the video and kind of hints at what she's going to do, she's going to go to the bachelor party, and he's like, you should think about this.
Oh,
and the way she says,
I cannot begin to tell you how much I've thought about it.
Oh, God, it's like a knife in my heart.
I loved it when he's like, you've got to forgive me. And she's just like,
no, I don't, yeah.
Right.
No question.
Actually, I don't.
But she would have maybe if he'd responded in a different way, because I think it's so fucking important that you see her forgive the lawyer.
Right,
Yeah.
that he says this haunts me every day and I'll never forgive myself. Then I forgive you.
And he wasn't even there. Like, I mean, he did a whole bunch of shit. The fact that, like, Ryan was there and didn't stop in and was laughing.
That's honestly too.
Like, that's
probably
also
the
fucked
lawyer
up.
is the one who could most make a case for forgiving himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's his job. You're an attorney, you're hired to defend somebody, and you defend them. In a certain way, you could say he's the least culpable person. He was just an interested party doing his job.
And, like, everybody else was literally there. None of them are sorry, and they don't even remember half the time.
Right.
It's interesting, because Madison, when she's in that weird front room, what is up with their house?
Oh,
Their house
like
is
the
so
dog
fascinating.
room, like
Yeah.
the shepherd portrait.
It's got, like, 3 chandelier lamps and 2 couches
they have a lot
that
of fancy
obviously no one
lamps.
ever sits on.
Her parents just seem so out of touch.
There's a lot going
They
on
don't
in their
understand
house.
her at all.
A lot going on in their
Yeah.
house. But anyway, Madison's like,
So much stuff happened back then, like all the time. You know what it was like? It was just one blackout after the next. I hoped I'd imagined it.
as if it's an excuse. Everyone is constantly trying to excuse themselves. And she's even trying to even then. Even though earlier she was like, you could forgive me for not believing her because she was a slut, like that whole conversation.
Do you ever think about it?
Why would I?
Right. Why would you? So if a friend came to you now and told you that they thought something bad had happened to them the night before.
Cassie!
Something bad.
It was years ago.
What would you say? Would you roll your eyes behind her back and dismiss the whole thing as drama?
I don't know why you're mad at me. Okay, I'm not the only one who didn't believe it. If you have a reputation for sleeping around, then maybe people aren't going to believe you when you say something's happened.
Coming from another woman, it's so hard to hear.
Well.
You blow it tonight, girl, and it's Keggers with kids all next year.
Logan, you watched Promising Young Woman with us.
We took a chance letting you watch it because we didn't know.
That's
there was
true.
no parents' guide or anything, you know.
Yeah.
We didn't know how dark it was going to get or anything.
I really liked it. I don't think I was too young for it.
We just didn't know what to expect. This is Emerald Fennell's first movie, but I feel like she took care of us. What was your favorite thing about the movie?
I liked the vibe. I liked like the revenge aspect. I liked how it changed, like the vibes. They changed overall. Like it started, this is this thing she does, and then it was like, now she has a mission. Then it was like, she's in love, and it's like, mission back on.
How did you feel about Ryan? Was he an actual nice guy, or was he...
Bo Burnham's character.
Bo Burnham, yeah.
I only know him as Bo Burnham, I don't remember his name. But yeah, that was interesting, because she seemed so much happier when she was with him, but then it's like, he was actually there for this. And, like, to her, it was like, it seemed like no question, like, he's immediately dead to me.
Do you feel like she was being harsh in judgment of him?
Maybe, because in the end, she did end up releasing it, but also, like, not really. She does seem, in general, like she's on the harsher side of what should be done in this situation, the spectrum of that. So maybe, but I don't think it's beyond reason.
Do you think there was a chance that she would have forgiven him if he had had a different attitude? Like, do you remember when she went to see the lawyer, and the lawyer said that he would never forgive himself for what he did, and she did forgive him? Do you think there was a chance she could have forgiven Ryan?
Maybe, but also maybe not, because he had been, like, just going about everything knowing that, and it hadn't affected him at all. Right. So it might have been hard for him to convince her that he actually felt bad about it.
That's a good point. Like, with the lawyer, she didn't have to remind him that this thing happened.
Yes.
He was like, I live with this every day. And he was like, who? Nina? That sounds familiar.
Yeah, and he was actually there. I can see why that would be an extra big kick in the pants. This is the most traumatic thing adjacent that's ever happened to her. And he didn't remember being there. And he certainly didn't try to stop it when he was there.
Right, and even how he's still kind of friends with Al.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And even that makes me think that when he first talks about him, he's like, oh, you know Al, he always lands on his feet. Oh, he just lives a charmed life, that Al. Like, that's kind of a gross thing when you think about it. That that's his attitude about that guy.
Are you friends with anyone from Forest still, or?
No.
I can't shake them off.
You still hang out with those guys?
They're not that bad. They aren't, really. Oh my god, Al Monroe is marrying this bikini model. He got this hideous tattoo of her name to propose. Amazingly, she said yes. Classic Al, you know, landing on his feet.
Al Monroe?
You must remember Al.
You see him a lot?
We're not close, but he's in the group. We actually see each other at work because he's an anesthesiologist.
Good for him.
The event itself just didn't have any sort of impact on him at all.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, at least Madison remembered, even if she was
Right.
trying to pretend like it wasn't a big deal.
Even without like a major movement happening in between, aren't there things that you remember from when you were younger that as an adult you're like, oh, that was really messed up, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're probably very fresh for you.
It's hard for me because I like Bo Burnham so much, but the character does suck so much.
Well, I mean, I think it's good. I think they needed someone to be really charming. They have to have someone as likable as him, or else it's not really believable that she would even soften.
There is a point we made, would it be better if she had just lived in ignorance of that? Because that scene where she looked at the video was so painful. Where it's like, would it be better if that had never happened? Because ignorance is bliss. Would that be better? Obviously it wouldn't be like the truth, but she would be happier. She'd be alive.
Be happier and alive, yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, what's to say that it wouldn't have come out eventually anyway? Because even if she was momentarily better, she hadn't dealt with the trauma, really.
That is a very good point. It would have been...
It might have been worse because she's like, oh, I've been with this guy for 10 years, and now I'm realizing this.
You would think if they stayed together at some point, she would share with him how much that event affected her.
And if she didn't,
although it
then
didn't seem like he even really remembered being there.
Yeah, I know, that scene is interesting because it's hard to know what's going on in his head. Yeah. He does seem at first like, he's like, what is this? Why are you showing this to me? And then he's like, oh, it's Al, haha. And then he realizes what's going on and is like, why would you show this to me?
Right.
If he really didn't remember it, then I feel like there's a small chance that they could have like ended up together and been happy, because she could have been like, this affected me so much. And he's like, wow, I saw things like that when I was younger, but I never really interpreted how messed up it was. There might have been a chance for him then, for her to like actually like show him how messed up that was. But
maybe if he'd been receptive to learning a lesson about it rather than just immediately paranoid that
right, how this is gonna happen.
That's like the theme in this movie is that's immediately where these guys go, and where literally everyone in society goes is we have to protect these guys. Yeah.
Like this could affect a man's future.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine her wanting to even go on a date with Ryan.
He was very charming though, like when they first interacted.
I'm actually really glad to hear you say that, Logan, because I've noticed with other movies you've watched with us, guys that when we were your age were like, oh, he's so cute, you're immediately like, that dude's trouble, I don't like it.
And again, it might just be because I know Bo Burnham.
I mean, so that it's just genius casting then.
Yeah.
Like, not many dudes could have pulled that off. Christian Slater would not come up that way.
No, that would be a completely different.
You're like, what are you doing, guys?
I feel like she kind of expected to die.
Oh,
I don't think that.
Question.
I think it's an option she considered, and she obviously prepared for it. But I think she was kind of okay with it. Like, I feel like she might have been a little bit suicidal. I feel like she's like, I don't really have that much to live for. Because she was so happy with Ryan. I didn't remember his name. She was so happy with Ryan. And then it was like, no, actually, he's bad. So I feel like she's like, that's it. I'm going out with a bang. Or maybe just, pulling this off.
I don't know. I really... Especially after watching it the second time, I'm like, I know she knows that could happen, obviously, but when she is about to carve Nina's name on him, like, I feel like she's so psyched.
That's true. She's having, the most fun we've seen her have.
Yeah. No, I don't think it was a suicide mission. I feel like she knows you might not get out of this alive, but she wants to. I think she fights really hard to...
Well, if you're being suffocated, obviously your survival instincts kick in, regardless of if you have will to live or not. I think she was like, this is like the only thing I want to do. Like, imagine she had successfully carried that off, she would have had no direction afterwards. And I think that's partially why I think it's really cool I think that's a cool way the movie did it. Like, that's well written that she died. She would have had absolutely no direction afterwards. She wouldn't really know what to do.
I feel like she could have come up with stuff to do.
I just think, again, she was so excited. She was so driven towards just that one thing that I don't think she cared if she lived or died afterwards. Obviously, she did want to carry it out, but I think after that, she didn't really care. Because she was so prepared for if she died. Obviously, it wasn't like, I can't die. This isn't a thing I will accept happening. She had accepted that was a chance, and I think she was a little bit okay with that.
Yeah. Which is kind of amazing, because I don't think that I would think I would die in that situation.
Right,
I don't know. I would think, yes, maybe I could get raped or beaten up or something. Something terrible would happen to me, but
Yeah,
I don't think I would have been like, I'll probably die.
Yeah.
They'll probably murder me, these people.
I really don't know what she thought was gonna kill her in that situation.
I read an article where Emerald Fennell said the ending was like the only way like she could see, you know, when she introduced kind of dangerous situation. There's some element of violence that's going to happen. Even though she engineered this scenario, a lot of times when that happens, it doesn't always go well for the woman. And I thought it sucked that she had to die. How else could it have ended?
Obviously there is still toxic masculinity in the world, but this she has such a connection to, and that's all she's really done with her life. They definitely show that a lot. Like, she's still living with her parents. All she's really done with her life is specifically just like taking down this toxic masculinity, and this specific thing is what's driven her. I think after she taught them a lesson, she wouldn't really have like anywhere else to go.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like you could say this is like what has stunted her for the last few years, and then taking care of it is what sets her free.
There is the revenge element, but then also thinking about how she's telling Nina's mom, like, I should have gone with her. Like, it's like she could never
herself.
She could never forgive herself.
Mm-hmm. I'm super bummed that she didn't actually get to finish carving.
I know, right? Like, if she at least get like one letter in before the
right? Even an N would be so good. It could still end the same way and have that happen, but...
It's like she was so determined and strong and foolproof plan, and then all of a sudden the handcuff comes off, and it's his strength against her strength, and then it's over so quickly at that moment.
Yeah, it sucks too, because she could have also roofied him, but she didn't because she wanted him to hear her speech.
Yeah.
Right.
She should have given him some sort of sedation, though, like where he could at least...
Or gotten better handcuffs. So they didn't
I
break.
know, not handcuffs from the sex shop. Get some, go to the, I don't know where you would buy.
Where would you get actual? Or like use rope or something that won't break easily.
I don't know. I think she just did not expect that to happen.
Yeah.
So this is what's called a lunchtime poll.
I'm excited to do like a fun lunchtime poll.
Maybe fun. I don't know.
Actually, I know.
I feel like all our fun lunchtime polls always, I always start out going, this is so fun, and then we're like, that's just who we are. We're dark people.
Such is life.
C'est la vie. Comme ci, comme ça.
Like this, like that.
Que sera, sera. Okay, so the lunchtime poll today is inspired by that beautiful little unicorn of a scene where they're in this pharmacy and that Paris Hilton song comes on and they both know it, the lyrics to it, and dance around, and it's really cute.
First trip to the pharmacy together.
Yeah.
Big step.
I'm sorry. Are you singing Paris Hilton?
What? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Stop it.
It's
I'm satisfied. Oh, you know.
And then later, right before Madison comes to blow everything all up, when she gets out of the car with the groceries, she's humming the song.
Aww.
Like, it becomes their song, basically. This stupid Paris Hilton song. That took 4 men to write, by the way. I just think that's such a funny tidbit of information.
Well, songs have like a lot of writing credits these days, I feel like.
So, anyways, what is the dumbest song that ended up meaning something to you?
Alright, I'm gonna go for it. I mean, I don't want to say this is a dumb song. This is a great song, but a goofy song that means so much to me is I saw a white lady standing on the street just sobbing, and I think about it once a week.
I saw a white lady standing on the street just sobbing, and I think about it once a week.
God, God, that song is so good. Like, it's not dumb, but it's...
Yeah. But it is silly. Yeah, it's silly.
Yeah, it's a goofy thing from this John Mulaney Netflix special. But 2020 overall was, like, a good year for me, but there was a very, very bad time from March to April. I feel like I was, like, constantly listening to that soundtrack or watch that special, like, almost every day. I think of them as like the songs that saved my life. I mean, I was just in a very, very bad place, but then I would play those songs when I was like making dinner and I'd be like dancing around the kitchen. And it was like the only like lightness kind of. And it's so good. That's like, I think like the greatest, purest 4 minutes of television ever.
I approach, she's demure. She thinks, who is this 4-foot bachelor? So my hand I extend and say, I'm Alex J and you look like you need a friend.
For that reason, but then there's another reason that really gets me is that back in like 2008, 2009, when me and my friends and family were like first getting on Facebook, and my sister-in-law especially, she would post things that were like not related to anything, and then they'd end up being this like status comment marathon, you know, where there would be like 100 comments and we'd just all be talking, you know. Like I forgot to mention a little detail. This was when my brother was dying. So when I say my sister-in-law, I mean she was married to my brother. So one time she put up a status not related to anything. And it ended up being this endless stuff where we were talking about what we were going through and memories of him. He was still alive, but, you know, just of, like, everything that was going on. And so, like, I kept getting notifications of, like, so-and-so commented on status. It kept being on my newsfeed over and over again. But anyway, what the status was that she put was, we tell ourselves stories in order to live. She's a big Joan Didion person, you know. So that song really gets to me because that quote ended up being special to me because that's just what it makes me think of, you know, that the kid quotes it to this crying lady is just like, wow. It's very on the nose because I've also definitely been the lady standing on the street sobbing. I'm a big public crier.
No.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I'm excited to do this fun lunchtime ball. And I made it sad.
Okay, I can tell my silly sad.
No. We all go sad.
Well, of course. I mean, I guess when you think about the nature of it, that's what happens. There's this Chicago song.
Ooh, Peter Cetera.
No.
From the play.
No, the band, but it's not Peter Cetera, it's the other guy. It's called Look Away. It's like the when you called me up this morning, told me about the new love you found. I'll set him happy for you. Before I met my husband and realized I could love again, I had like an ex who was like the ex I was never going to get over from college. So what happened was, I don't know, he broke up with me. It was a weird, we were like,
you're a fool.
We'd been just arguing a lot. Like we had a lot of arguments in the car where we'd like drive to a place and then we'd be late going into the place because we'd be fighting in the car. And I don't even remember why. Like everything I remember about this relationship was good stuff, but for some reason we were always arguing about some shit. But anyway, he felt like he wasn't measuring up to be my boyfriend. So he was going to go off to Europe and become a better man and then come back and be man enough for me or whatever. Like he lived with his mom still did his laundry. He didn't really have a job at the time. And I didn't give a shit, but he felt insecure. And he was saying, like, the reason we were always fighting, he thought, was because he was having these feelings of inadequacy. Anyway, so he was like, I'm going to go teach English in Prague and learn to be self-sufficient and come back. And hopefully we can get back together again at that point. And I was like, yep, that's definitely what's going to happen. And I definitely, like, was in other relationships and still thought about him a little bit. But what happened was he fell in love with a lady in Prague and married her. But we were, like, still going to be friends. We would talk and I was trying to be happy for him. And there was all kinds of music that, like, he was into that was kind of cheesy butt rock. And one of the bands he really loved was Chicago. It was a little while after he told me that he had met this girl and was going to marry her. And I heard that song on the radio, listened to the words, and then I just started crying because I was like, oh, fuck, the song is about me. And now, like, I still can't hear that song without thinking about him. Like, I'm fine now, obviously. Everything's fine. Everything's worked out great. I'm just always going to think about him and how I felt at that time whenever I hear that song going forward, and it's a really silly song.
Well, for mine, I have so many. I love, like, bubblegum. I go through, like, obsessions with different songs. Laura and I had, an obsession with Stars Are Blind, actually.
Oh, really?
And Laura probably remembers my Soulja Boy Kiss Me Through the Phone phase. But I love dancing and going out dancing. I just have like such good memories of the Kylie Minogue song, Can't Get You Out of My Head.
That's a banger.
So
Totally.
It's like joy remembering that time in my life. And then as a child, I went roller skating every weekend. And do you guys remember Stevie B? He's from Miami. He's like an 80s dance musician. Well, there's this song, Spring Love. It's such a great roller skating song. He just fell in love with this girl.
I can remember the first time we ever met. The sun was shining, love was screaming in the air. Took you in and wiped all your tears away. I gave you loving more than any other game. Something changed, season came to an end. We had to part, and that's where my heartache began. Heartache began.
It just makes me remember roller skating. And it's such a great song.
Would you want to answer the lunchtime poll question?
Okay.
You remember they have a special moment to a very goofy song. What's a goofy song that has meant something special to you in your life?
Maybe that one song, that like kind of annoying timber song. I just feel like I've heard that song so many times throughout my life, and I have moments where, like, I remember it from like multiple New Years, so like in my head, that's where I associate that.
Yeah.
Maybe that song. I don't know.
Is Kesha's song Timber?
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying.
You would know it if you heard it. Do you know the song we're talking about? It's like.
Yeah,
there's some
it's an
yodeling.
earworm. Like,
It's a weird
song.
but it's very catchy.
There was one New Year's where I think the twins were playing it over and over again.
Yeah. I think so.
How very. I just wanted to talk about the music. It was
Yeah.
so good.
This soundtrack
The soundtrack is
rules.
so good.
It really does.
And it fits like perfectly. Each part in the movie where a particular song shows, it's so perfect. I loved Just Call Me Angel in the end. Like that song was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a radical song when it came out because it's just like this woman who, you know, is just like been with her lover and is just gonna kiss him and walk away into the morning or whatever.
There'll be no strings to bind your hands, not if my love can't bind your heart. There's no need to take a stand, for it was I who chose to start.
Yeah, it's like a one-night stand song.
She's not expecting anything or wanting anything.
Mhm.
Out of, you know, it's kind of a radical song for the 60s.
Mhm.
Like Connie Francis was offered that song and she didn't want to do it.
Oh, really?
Well, she thought it was too risque.
Oh my god.
I don't. I love Juice Newton and then.
That's not the original one.
No, it's
yeah.
like Merrily Rush.
Just touch my cheek before you leave me, baby.
And then a guy sang it originally.
Just call her angel of the morning, then slowly turn away.
The Merrily
Weird.
the Merrily Rush version is so good. It reminds me of my mom's generation and like the attitude, sex, like there's a lot of shame attached to that, and I thought that song was awesome. Like, and just like knowing the history of it.
Yeah, I mean, I love the
So good.
like the opening. It's kind of a cold open, I guess, because it's before you see the title. It's when she's walking home, and it's like a walk of shame, kind of. She's holding her heels, and she's got like her suits all rumpled, and she's eating the hot dog.
Yeah.
And they play that "It's Raining Men" cover. I just love that's such a good characterization scene, and then how she like stares down the construction workers.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
And all she does is look at them. And they're like catcalling her, and then all she does is like stare at them and not smile. And she's just eating her hot dog and looking at them, and then they go from, hey baby, you should smile, to like, you fucking bitch. so amazing. And that song's playing.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And then the instrumental of Toxic when she's walking up to the frat party. Or not frat party, whatever. Bachelor party. Fratchler party.
Too. Like, like something's gonna happen.
Yeah. It's really good. The color coding in the notebook we didn't even fucking talk about. Let's talk about it a little bit. She has 3 colors. She has a 4-color pen, which is awesome. She uses 3 colors, though. Red, blue, and black in her notebook. And she does like a hashtag, a hash.
Like a tally?
A tally. Thank you. In the color, and then she goes back and writes their name in that same color. Jerry is black. He's the guy who was definitely going to do stuff while she was passed out.
Is that Adam Brody?
Adam Brody. And then the next guy, his name was... Oh, shit, I wrote it down. It doesn't matter.
McLovin.
McLovin for life was blue. Mm-hmm. And he woke her up. She was like, it's very sweet of you to wake me up before you stuck your fingers inside me. Another good line. But we never see a red encounter.
Oh, fuck.
But I have a theory that that's like when she was just straight up raped.
Like red is like didn't stop even when she was.
And there's plenty of red names in that notebook.
All right.
So that's
what
nuts.
Emerald Fennell has to talk to us to
Yeah.
confirm or deny.
Confirm or
The
deny.
color code. Did we crack the color code?
It's really interesting, too, when I was reading a bunch of reviews about it. There weren't that many theories about what the color coding meant. A lot of people just kind of brushed over it, like, it means something, blah, blah, blah. But there were a couple people who made theories, and all the ones who assumed that it meant she was killing them, maybe, were dudes.
Yeah, she's obviously not killing
Yeah.
them. Come on.
Yeah.
And one guy totally was like, well, she had blood dripping down her leg in the beginning. Like, no, she was eating a hot dog. Very pointedly eating a hot dog.
Why would you assume that was like the guy's blood? You know, like that's
Yeah.
so interesting. You wouldn't assume it was her own blood. You know, like,
Yeah.
I definitely would have thought that. When the first time we watched it, and when I thought it was blood before the show, I'm like, I thought it was her blood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, wow, guys are so dumb.
I know.
All the guys in it are like the cute guys from all these shows. They are the nice guy actor types, and I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Laverne Cox was right in it too.
She was really good, and there was another meaningful passage that, well, it's not exactly a passage, it's just when she pretends that she has to take the phone call in the back, and then Cassie says, well, I guess this is also pretty great, Cassie says she has to take a few imaginary phone calls a day.
Oh my god.
And then the way Gail laughs is just really delightful. It's like a really funny, sort of manic.
I most definitely heard a phone ring in the back.
She has to take a few imaginary calls a day.
I love that laugh.
It's interesting. They never really go into Nina's death or her storyline that much. They never.
They never say what happened, really. I mean,
they really don't.
But it's like so easy to guess.
Right. It's interesting that they left that to be figured out, though.
I think it's just in the sense of everyone was talking the way they would normally be talking, which is they would be dancing around that.
Right. Like
no one would ever come out and say that.
I think it's clear she killed herself, but yeah, people do kind of dance around that.
Yeah, after she lost her trial. I assume that's what happened.
Yeah. There were places where there could have been exposition, like where she was going to the people to take revenge. There was definitely a place where she could have, if they wanted to, had her do exposition.
Yeah, like the most exposition is her monologue at the end when she's talking about Nina.
Mm-hmm.
And she still doesn't even really talk about what happened specifically. She's just talking about what kind of person Nina was and then how it affected Nina.
I want you to know what she was like, okay? She's just so difficult to explain because she was just so completely herself. Even when she was 4 years old. She was fully formed from day one. Same face, same walk, and funny. Like a grown-up is funny, kind of shrewd. I was just in awe of her. I couldn't believe she wanted to be my friend. She didn't give a fuck what anyone else thought apart from me, because she was just... Nina.
But that's absolutely the most like exposition about that weekend.
That one girl she went to like lunch with.
That's true. They did talk about it, but they danced around it too. Again, she had euphemistic ways of referring to it.
I feel like that girl did not learn the lesson she was supposed to learn.
Clothes. I want to talk about the clothes.
I loved her clothes. I loved all the bright colors.
And her nails being all
Yeah,
different
she's got
colors
like these
is so
pastel
cute.
Easter egg nails in different colors. And I mean, she just is like a ray of sunshine.
Okay.
Like,
Burgess noticed something. He said he noticed like an ominous tone, an ominous hum in certain scenes, which is a very Lynchian signature. I wonder if we'd had the closed captioning on if it would have even said ominous tone, because whenever you're watching any Lynch, it just says that most of the time. But then also in Twin Peaks The Return, you see the character Diane for the first time. Diane is Cooper's secretary that he's always talking to. You never see her in the first two seasons. But you meet her and it's Laura Dern. And she ends up being one of my favorite characters in all of Twin Peaks.
10 minutes tops. Or it's over when I say it's over.
Exactly the way it's gonna be, Diane. You'll control the curtain and the microphone.
And we're very appreciative. What'd you say your name was again? Tammy.
Fuck you, Tammy.
And her nails are multicolored nails. Not exactly like that. They're not pastel. They're more like bold colors. But they're 5 different colors. I'm just wondering, like, how much Lynch influence there is there. That's one of my questions. So I'm just saying, we need to, like, put together a list of questions for Emerald Fennell.
Yeah.
And interview her and call us Emerald, please.
Yeah.
Was that intentional? I must know. Because also, spoiler alert for Twin Peaks: The Return, Diane is a victim of sexual assault, too. And blonde. I don't know. I'm always looking for Lynchian connections, but I feel like there's something there.
seems pretty strong, yeah. I loved her nails. I loved her makeup. Blending those ideas of bubblegum into pop music.
Yeah, very feminine clothing.
Yeah, very feminine, but she's also very serious. And
I like it.
so
Like, I
many
can be
things.
serious but still fun and feminine. I think a lot of like things that are trying to be feminists like tend to do that. She's a feminist and therefore shows no femininity, or look at this girl who shows no femininity, this is what you should be. And I think it's really cool that they had her still have that femininity while mixing it with like seriousness. I think that was really cool. I don't remember a lot of her outfits. I remember liking one of them that she was like wearing at a party, and the only outfit I actually like remember was the one at the very end, but I don't really remember it.
That's pretty memorable.
A lot of floral patterns. I remember a lot of them. She has like a kind of fluffy pink sweater with flowers on it, roses, and then she's got that floral maxi sundress that she wears to the date with Ryan.
Really cute.
And then she has this like amazing gingham jumpsuit. It's not exactly gingham, but...
Seersucker, I think?
Oh, is that it? Okay.
Maybe. Yeah, I think it is. Do you know what seersucker is? Oh, okay.
It's probably what I'm thinking of.
Seersucker is like a stripe. Usually a white stripe and a colored stripe, and then one is flat and one is puckered.
Okay. I do know what you're talking about now. But then the clothes she wears to the nightclubs are different because those are like a costume. They're not her personal expression. And that's really fun to see. And also I think she enjoys that.
Yeah.
Like I think she enjoys the role play aspect of it.
Becoming someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how like in the first scene, like she's dressed like she just came from work when she's out, and then in the scene where Ryan runs into her and she's like in a real party girl outfit.
Right.
I think that was the outfit I liked. That outfit.
With the side pony.
Yeah.
I think.
And she's kind of wearing a hipster outfit when she's with
It definitely is.
McLovin.
I think the place she was going to and the people.
And the person she that picks her up. And they're all different kinds of nice dudes too, right? Nice dudes. I really like the toxic hipster character a lot. I also read an interview with Carey Mulligan, and she said that was the most fun of those scenes to shoot, and she said she actually like broke a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was apparently doing a lot of ad-libs.
Which one? Are you talking about McLovin?
Yeah. And then of course the wig in the last scene is...
Oh yeah, it's so cool.
Oh, it's the coolest fucking wig ever. Yeah.
It's really cool.
It's very fun.
I don't want to wear that whole outfit. I just want to wear that wig and have that be my real hair always.
Is that called like mermaid hair or something?
I think
there's
so. I've
pastel.
had mermaid hair before. I've had that hairstyle. That hair dye style.
Right.
It's hard to do that. Oh my god. All those like little strands.
Oh my
of different
gosh, yeah,
colors.
it took forever. The music fits what we were saying about the outfits. It fits that power while still holding all the femininity. Like the fun but seriousness to femininity.
Pop music.
Yeah, I think I think the music and the outfits definitely fit together for like her self-expression.
Nobody's expecting her to do all these things that she does. Yeah, non-threatening.
She's a nice girl. Actually, it's really shrewd because even I feel like there is a lot of her expression to the way she wants to, the clothes that make her feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But also, she's outwardly portraying a nice girl, and she's doing it to ensnare her victims. I guess are seemingly nice guys
Like
that
the
have a
one,
sinister underbelly.
Like the dean's daughter. She was not threatening at all. Like the dean's daughter didn't view her as threatening at all because of all of that.
That was like another kind of character she was playing even.
Right.
And she was like, I'm so frazzled, I gotta get to this thing.
I'm so sorry, but my phone has died and I'm so late for work. Do you live around here? Do you know the area? I guess. Why?
There's just a lot of role play. She should take an improv class if she weren't dead. A lot of the criticism I saw from people, there were things that I was like, I can see their point of view in reviews, but I would disagree. So I have a couple of those for a segment that I have titled The Devil's Advocate. And these are paraphrases from reviews. Someone had a problem with the fact that the movie doesn't say the word rape ever or show the assault. Which
it didn't have
First
to.
of all, we didn't need to see.
Yeah,
I
like
think you were right about like glossing over it because that's
No one wants to admit that that's even what it was.
Yeah.
Or, like the incident or the whatever
Right.
unfortunate thing that happened.
Which is also very not like placing the responsibility on the guy.
Exactly. Because yeah, if you say rape, then
it's like
definitely means it's
did
one
this thing.
specific person's fault.
But the incident is a thing that happened. Oh no.
Right. Yeah. Or even what the dean says.
None of us want to admit when we've made ourselves vulnerable, when we've made a bad choice. And those choices, those mistakes can be so damaging and really regrettable.
Yeah. And she's talking about Nina, but she's also right. Like nobody's owning up to their bad decisions.
she's got Al Monroe handcuffed, and he's like,
maybe she regretted it after. Okay.
Oh yeah, she regretted it.
she can't believe that the guy is saying that.
Yeah.
I just love the way that
such a
she
decision
responded
she
to
made.
that in that moment. They're just pushing it off on, I was a kid, or like, I don't
Things
know.
got out of hand. It's just something that happened.
Right.
Yeah.
No one could have stopped it.
I feel like with a lot of the male characters in the movie, there's this moment they're confronted with what they've done, and it's like really major with Al in the very end where he's sobbing. He's being confronted with a bad thing that he did. You have to decide how you're going to go forward after that, and he chooses to get away with it, basically, or to
Yeah,
try to
like
get
to hide
away
the
with
body.
it. I felt like he was honestly
He goes
like
to his
struggling a little bit, and his friend is like, she left the party, like trying to convince him,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, thank you.
It was an accident.
Yeah, I mean, of course it was a fucking accident.
Yeah, of course it was a fucking accident. No one's gonna go to jail because no one's ever gonna find out. If anybody asks, we all saw her leave last night. She stripped, and then she left.
She left.
She left. Okay, alright. It's gonna be fine, alright? We're gonna take care of this. We're just gonna get rid of the body before the others leave. Hey, it's okay, look at me. This is not your fault, Al. You did nothing wrong. Alright.
He turned that corner where he decided,
Right.
I
he
didn't
has
do this.
that tiny moment of when he goes, it's not your fault, and he's like,
I don't know, it kind of seems like it is.
maybe I'm the bad guy.
yeah.
And
it's
then he's
also
like, no,
like-
you're not, no, you're not. All right.
Yeah, and
all
that
right.
is, everyone around him pulls the responsibility away from him. Yeah, no, it wasn't your fault. They enable him in that. And I think she definitely goes into that. Like, she goes to all the people who contributed to Nina's pain. Obviously, he sucks. But then here are all the people who enabled him afterwards and led him to not take responsibility.
Yeah, and his friend seemed like, what are you doing? No, you didn't do this. You know,
Oh, right, yeah,
and
the
it's just
friend.
like, What did you convince
No, I know
them?
how to hide a dead body.
Now here's what we're gonna do. How they all protect each other.
Yeah, it's really the big difference of like the male friendship and the female friendship. What Cassie did for Nina was totally internalized her trauma. I think they also say that they're also like lifelong friends. And he's like, I'm gonna externalize this trauma for you.
Yeah.
You know, like, you didn't do anything, you have nothing to feel bad about, we'll fix this up.
Another criticism was that her acts are undoubtedly shocking and make for good entertainment, but they are downright cruel and humanize the villains more than the victim.
What?
I don't think the villains are humanized.
How are they humanized?
Who are you playing? Wait, that almost feels like they're calling the people that she took revenge on the victim.
They kind of
I
are,
think
because they're
that's
saying,
what
like,
they're
they don't
saying.
deserve that.
Who doesn't deserve what? Like,
And the people
pretending to be drunk?
Her acts are undoubtedly shocking. Are they shocking?
misleading the dean. And
I guess
making
maybe
her-
that's like the one you can
The one
The
that I
daughter
can
is
think of is like something cruel that she does is makes this woman think that her daughter's getting gang raped. Like, okay, fair, a little bit.
The daughter think that she was gonna meet this man.
She lets her draw her own conclusions, which is like another thing
Yeah.
too, because
She
it's like
doesn't
if
blatantly
you're
say.
so scared about this,
Oh, I'm sure she'll be
Right.
fine.
Then-
Nina was fine, right?
Right,
According
exactly.
You
to
have
her.
to give men the benefit of the doubt.
Her
Look how
situation.
quickly you don't.
I guess you just have to think about it in the right way. I guess it feels different when it's someone you love.
So I still don't think that was too
Yeah.
harsh, but that's like the yeah. Let's see. One review was like, I don't like movies where women have to be traumatized to get justice. You can not like it all you want, but
That's the entire
This wasn't-
premise of the movie.
It
is
wasn't a
about
plot
women's
device.
trauma.
It was
Right.
the plot.
one review said that they didn't think it was murdery enough. They wanted her to actually kill people
It did
before she
kind of seem
died.
like
I mean, fair.
that she
That
was
would be a
gonna
different
be.
movie.
Yeah, it would be a very different.
Yes,
movie.
exactly.
I feel
It
like
would
that's
make
a
her
thing
a-
that's been done, like a vigilante justice movie.
It would make her less
You know.
sympathetic, though.
Right,
Which
and
would
I
be
feel
difficult.
Like it's less subtle.
It would definitely make her a lot less sympathetic.
Like, I feel like this
which-
is a movie
yeah.
about rape culture. It's
Mhm.
not just a
Yeah.
movie about rape.
I
mean-
would watch a show though that was like that, but she murders them. I would watch that show.
Like Dexter, Lady Dexter. Another one, this was an article about how Cassie and Veronica Mars are similar, which is true. There are a lot of similarities. So they're saying, how can Cassie and Veronica win against rapists when they lose their identity and love for life in the process? How are they surviving? My argument is that they aren't. They aren't.
Yeah.
This is, you're watching a person actively not survive.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She just
I feel like this segment should be called "Why Are You Pulling My Dick?"
It now is.
Veronica, why are you pulling my dick?
I don't know how many movies we'll be able to do this with, but I was just shocked. I mean, this is probably like the most reviews I've read for a movie ever, because I just was so fascinated by all the takes. Promising a Woman isn't a film about beating the system. It's a pessimistic tale of a martyr who's willing to sacrifice her body and mind for a small victory.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be a criticism of it, but I think it's actually just literally a correct read of
But
it.
if you're gonna make a modern day movie about rape culture, like, you shouldn't feel good at the end.
Yeah, it
you
shouldn't
know?
be optimistic.
Yeah, right.
It shouldn't be
Because we haven't fixed it. It's not like, and then everything was fine. Because otherwise it ends in a fantasy world. And like you said, there are a million movies where you see the rape, it's usually horrible, and then she kills a bunch of people. And then probably still dies at the end, so. Because women just can't live.
Rape culture, but also like the way that women are dismissed so much. And like the detective, he just wanted to wrap up his case as quickly as possible. And I know that's probably not a unique thing for cops and detectives to do, but the scene where he goes to see Ryan and get more information from Ryan, and then he offers up like,
That's all right, Doc. Between you and me, it sounded like she wasn't feeling so good. Mentally, I mean. Her father seemed to think she was a little unstable.
had
I just
mental
remember
health
him.
problems.
And that was
basically.
just from talking to her parents,
Yeah,
I
just-
think. And he was kind of conjecturing onto them, too. They were kind of saying, like, she's fine, she just sometimes disappears. And they were like, oh, she disappears, really? Oh, it sounds like she's not well. And they're like, no, we're not really saying that. And he's like, well, it sounds like you are. Basically, like, he's just already decided what's happening.
It took me a while to remember who you were talking about when you said the detective. But yeah, that was...
Yeah, he's only in 2 scenes, but he really swings his dick around the place.
I
actually would like to see one extra little shot or scene or something showing how they did eventually get the cops to give a shit. Because that's like probably the most unrealistic thing in the whole movie.
I think maybe it's that the lawyer context.
The lawyer
And
did.
that's what I think. Like
I
she
like
sent the video to the lawyer. I feel like that's how it happened. Like he would know how to make something happen, you know.
And he would
They
pursue
listen
it
to him
because of his
he was
Dickensian
an hysterical young lady or something, you know.
Exactly.
I like that scene a lot when she told Brian, I found this clip. But it seemed in that scene he was completely panicking. What he was panicking about, did that happen? Did he end up losing his job?
Yeah, they didn't go into that, but that is such a juxtaposition with the lawyer scene. How, like, the lawyer actively destroyed women's lives and felt really horrible about it and was very apologetic and
I wonder
couldn't sleep, like, just was racked with guilt, and Ryan just acted the exact opposite way. In fact, I noticed that he doesn't even ever say he's sorry before he says, you have to forgive me. He says, like, you have to forgive me, you have to forgive me.
Right.
Are you going to forgive me? But he never says, I'm sorry.
Oh, wow.
You can't forgive someone who hasn't apologized.
Yeah, it's just like it's gonna tell you to do something and you're
right
just gonna do it. Like, no, that's not how it works. Controlling other people's feelings.
And if he's that scared about it, then
Yeah.
he knows he needs to apologize for something. But he's not really sorry. He's sorry he's getting
I don't
caught.
think it even crosses his mind to be sorry for that. He's just scared because now she has this power to like ruin everything for him. He's not even like, she thinks I did something bad. It's more, she can do this to me. I have to get her to not do this.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got another fun fact. The scene where the lawyer is laying on her lap, crying like, please forgive me. Emerald Fennell wanted that scene to look like the Pieta.
Oh, it's Jesus on Mary.
Wow, that's cool as shit.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I bet there's a million things like that.
I know,
I bet
right?
there's a lot more. Another thing I noticed was that like he's got these two giant houseplants that are dead. That's such an amazing little set detail.
That is a good
And that made me want to literally freeze frame the whole movie.
Yeah.
I found the thing. Guys, here's a picture of the Pieta. See, if you could just find a way naturally being in this position by the end of this, then we'll put the shaft of light on you.
I think that the scene with the lawyer was super important to the movie and to her character and to show that she will forgive people.
I'm glad the lawyer got that
Yeah.
moment of redemption. I wondered if Ryan would have gotten in trouble legally, like after the police showed up, because he did lie to the detective.
He did!
Yeah.
And he said, like, oh, I don't know where she could have gone.
Oh my god.
Obviously,
Yeah, he
he
told
did.
her where it was.
I know he
So,
totally
like,
He's
did
now an
that.
accomplice to murder.
Yeah, I mean, well,
He was really calm lying to the cop. Like
He
that,
was.
I know. I feel like we see like a totally different side of the dude.
He had such a good fake being a good person.
I know.
Being a nice guy, but he was so awful.
yeah,
I'm a
it's
victim
like-
of cancel culture now.
Yes! That's exactly what it is! He's like, she's canceling me, she's gonna cancel me.
That
Oh
did
my
have that.
god.
That did have that vibe to me when she was like threatening him. That felt very like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
his trajectory even in the scene is very much like
Yeah.
watching
Yeah.
someone on Twitter melt, like him
Right.
doing in real life. Like, I was a kid, you can't, whatever,
Right.
you have to forgive me.
You're a failure.
Yes! I think you're a failure.
I love you to like, you're a fucking failure.
Two,
Oh my God.
you might have gotten murdered, but instead I'm gonna lie and tell this cop that I think you might have killed yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
That is.
Right, like why doesn't he get all alarmed? He knew where she was going and now she's a missing person and he's like,
I'm gonna lose my job!
I'll go to the wedding, you know.
I know, he goes to the wedding!
He goes. Oh my god.
It's so messed up he goes to the wedding.
Like that's weird, like that he doesn't even ask anyone like, hey, how was the bachelor party? Anything happened?
So
you know
I
what I
think
mean?
you murdered my
Right.
ex-girlfriend. He's such a fake person, that character. He might have not even cared about her at all.
Oh my god. Ugh.
This was fun talking about that.
Yeah,
I know.
it's like the best movie I've seen in so long.
It
was a good
It
movie.
really, I hope it wins a lot of awards.
Greetings and salutations.
So this movie takes place in Ohio, but I don't think that's really the point. I think it's supposed to be like any town USA. We did have one download from Ohio. So Amy was like, I guess they didn't like it.
They took a no thank you bite.
Yeah, so you're probably not listening, Ohio. But the real shout out is going to be the UK. They don't break it down by country in the UK, so I don't know if it's Wales or Scotland or England, but there are several downloads from the UK at large. So because Carey Mulligan and Emerald Fennell are British, pip pip cheerio, England. I know everyone to your accents.
No. I don't have one.
I do know a couple people from when I lived there a long time ago.
Oh yeah,
who I'm friends with on
I have a
Facebook.
stepsister somewhere in England. My stepdad's oldest daughter lives there. Hi Diane, if it's you.
I'd love to have more UK listeners.
Let's spread the word, Diane.
Yeah. I'm sure you all know Emerald Fennell because it's so small over there, so just tell her to call us, please.
Can't we just see what she'll do next?
I know.
I'm sure it's going to be awesome.
On the next episode of Paid and Puke, special guest Faye Haroff joins us to talk about Paul Verhoeven's 1995 unintentional camp comedy, Showgirls, starring Elizabeth Berkley and Gina Gershon.
If you enjoyed this episode of Paid and Puke, please take a minute to give us 5 stars on your preferred podcast app, such as Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon. If you did not enjoy this podcast, no further action is necessary. Follow us on Blue Sky at Paid and Puke Pod, on Instagram at Paid and Puke Seattle, and on YouTube at Paid and Puke Podcast. Paid and Puke is hosted by Amy Green, Jessica Baxter, and Christina Barr. Music by Silent Partner and Jessica Baxter. Produced and edited by Divine Betty Media. Thank you for listening. You're beautiful.
Lick it up, baby. Lick it